This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
More and more and more is being revealed relative to the plot to overthrow our country. Yesterday, the New York Times released some audio of a conference call before the riot, after the election, before the insurrection, and after the election, of a Roger Stone associate who talked about descending upon the Capitol, invoking imagery and the possibility of martial law. He guaranteed Joe Biden would not be in the White House, and talked about civil war, about World War III in this call. The more we learn, the more we are understanding just how much planning and strategy went into what took place on January 6th. It wasn't just a one-off, things got out of hand kind of a situation. These individuals were being called upon to descend on the United States Capitol. He does say in the audio, we don't want to riot, we don't want violence. What do you think is going to happen when you're literally telling people that their country is being stolen from them? The New York Times wrote a little bit about it, and then I'm going to play the audio, the full 5 minutes of the audio. And there will be a timer on it. You can see where it is if you want to skip ahead. We'll talk about it on the other side. Let me read a little bit from this New York Times article. In conference call before riot, a plea to descend on the Capitol. Days before January 6th, a one-time aide to Roger Stone told Trump backers to make lawmakers meeting to finalize the 2020 election results feel that, quote, people are breathing down their necks, which, with the benefit of history and hindsight, we know that that is what they did when they constructed a hangman's gallows on the lawn of the United States Capitol. Again, I know I say this all the time, but I really want it to impress upon people that that's not something that just sprang up. There wasn't just random lumber and nails or screws just laying around on the Capitol lawn. People brought with them the lumber to build a hangman's gallows. They didn't do it to build it on the ellipse in view of Donald Trump. They did it to build it and put it on the lawn of the United States Capitol. Forethought, premeditation. 1 week before an angry mob stormed the Capitol, a communications expert named Jason Sullivan and a one-time aide to Roger Stone joined a conference call with a group of President Donald Trump's supporters and made an urgent plea. After assuring his listeners that the 2020 election had been stolen, Mr. Sullivan told them that they had to go to Washington on January 6th, 2021, the day that Congress was to meet to finalize the electoral count and descend on the Capitol, according to a recording of the call obtained by the New York Times, which I'm going to play for you in just a moment. While Mr. Sullivan claimed that he was, quote, not inciting violence or any kind of riots, he urged those on the call to make their presence felt at the Capitol in a way that would intimidate members of Congress, telling the group that they had to ensure that lawmakers inside the building, quote, understand that people are breathing down their necks. He also pledged that Mr. Trump was going to take action on his own. The president, he said, was going to impose a form of martial law on January 6th and would not be leaving office. Quote, Biden will never be in that White House, Mr. Sullivan declared. That's my promise to each and every one of you. So, not only is Mr. Sullivan a dum-dum, a liar, a conspiracy theorist, he's also an un-American anti-democratic troll who is inciting an insurrection against the United States of America. Or at least, that's what it appears to be from this side, listening to this call. You tell me what you think. I'm going to play this call. We'll talk about it on the other side.
He's going to do something, and it's going to be to where people are actually going to be arrested. And I know you've been hearing that for a long time. but it will happen.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes, sir.
Because I have to cut myself off pretty soon. Is he going to declare an insurrection or martial law?
There very well may be some limited form of martial law. I don't know that it's the Insurrection Act, okay, because it's been deemed unconstitutional. There's a lot of argument about that, but who knows? President Trump does what President Trump wants to do. Okay, so people can advise him all they want so their face turns blue. At the end of the day, he's his own man. He's going to call his own shots. So he very well may call it an Insurrection Act, but there may be, I foresee a limited form of martial law, and I don't see any other way around it. Because, first off, it's not going to allow invited to this call, to take place. It's not going to happen. Biden will never be in that White House. That's my promise to each and every one of you. Okay? So when that happens, and that becomes realization, of course, Soros and group of minions and all their folks in the Black Lives Matter groups and the Antifa groups, of course, they're going to want to start to descend. What happened, where they start burning down cities was a prelude, okay? And so, of course, they have a plan to descend on cities and start burning cities down again. We know that. We know their entire playbook, okay? So do you think we're going to allow that to happen? No. There will be a limited form of martial law, which would, at that point, there's no more playing games. We're telling you, you have a curfew, and you got to abide by it. Otherwise, you're going to get shot in the rear end, okay? And they may be real bullets. Who knows, okay? But he's not going to allow them to descend on all the cities and burn all of our cities down, for one. And the main reason for that is because if he did allow them to do that, our militia would step up and meet them with great force, and we would therefore find ourselves in a civil war. There's no question about that. Does anybody doubt that?
Nope.
Oh, no. That's what I'm afraid of.
We're down here in we're down here in the South. Trust me, everybody's ready.
Yeah, I've been there. I mean, I've got good friends in Tennessee. They got 120 acres. They're built. They're ready for World War III. I mean, everything. And that's my fallback, actually. Okay. Yeah. So, but I don't see it happening because this president has principles, and he stands on those principles, and he will not break them for anyone. And so they picked on the wrong president. That's all I can tell you. The deep state thinks that they control everything, and they practically do. But they picked on the wrong president in this case. Okay? So I encourage everybody to not panic, not worry too much. Apologize for that background noise. I encourage everybody not to panic, for one. And anybody here that's been in the military, God bless you, and again, thank you for your service. And anybody in the military would know the first people to panic on the battlefield are the first people to not make it. Okay, so I encourage you more than anything not to panic, and I understand everybody's scared. Okay, and I'm constantly talking people off the ledge every single day, and just like I'm sure all of you are as well. I would be happy to speak in any way that I may, if you wish, but I like the optics. I like the optics because one is, the Capitol Hill, the people in that building need to feel the pressure, okay? When you want to get things done, when President Trump wants to get things done, he creates public pressure. I'm part of that public pressure. I'm one of the people that makes certain that it becomes viral, that everybody starts talking about it, okay? The people start yelling and spitting and fighting and kicking and screaming about it, okay? Then when that happens, then they have all of these hundreds of thousands of conversations taking place that proves that this is what the American people are talking about. This is what the American people want. And then he uses that and has used that in many cases for executive orders. Okay? I was called by Paula White to put pressure on Mitch McConnell because Mitch McConnell wasn't going to take the Prison Reform Act to the floor. He was going to kill it. She called me and said, put the pressure on him. No problem, Paula. She's a good friend of mine. We put a lot of pressure, and it was literally a day later that he caved, and he said, I'm taking the Prison Reform Act to the floor, okay? It was a miracle. That's how things get done. So you have to create leverage where you don't have it. And right now, we can do a lot of these things. I like the idea. Let's do the indictment, okay? Let's go through the process, but it's going to be a process. That's not going to be the Gordian knot solution, so to speak, but it can certainly be a hell of a nail in their coffin, especially if the process runs through, okay? But at the same time, there's got to be a multiple front strategy. And that multiple front strategy, I do think, is descend on the Capitol without question. Make those people feel it inside, okay? So they understand the people are breathing down their neck. And we've had it, and they've got it, and we've got to be perfectly clear about it. Now, I'm not inciting violence or any type of riots or anything like that, but we need to be loud. It needs to be like Jericho, okay? We need to shout and scream to where the walls fall down at Capitol Hill. That's what this optic needs to look like. And I can promise you, I can make that go so viral, so fast, across the globe. I know people. Trust me.
Again, talk of civil war, talk of martial law, talk of World War III. This is imagery meant to invoke emotion in people, to spark some sense of outrage that there is a war. He talks about militias. Dangerous talk meant to whip people into a frenzy. Successfully so, some would argue. What do you think? I would love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me, daily@dollemore.com. Thank you for your time and attention. Follow me on social media. I would absolutely love to connect with you there. I am at Dollemore on Twitter, at Dollemore on Instagram, at Dollemore. I keep repeating it because there's a few fake impersonation accounts out there that are trying to get people's bank account information. At Dollemore. I'll see you next time. I love you guys. I appreciate you so much. Thanks for engaging with my content. Thanks for caring about the future of our democracy. I will see you when I do. I appreciate you. Be genuine. Take care of one another.